everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make this cute little Uncle Sam's hat. It's a great patriotic decoration. You can add it to any of your tablescapes and you can even use it for a photo prop for you. You can just put it on your head or your pet, or maybe add it to a headband. It measures about 5 inches tall, so it's fun to make and play with and add to any of your patriotic celebrations. They also make great table markers. You can just add a little piece of paper with the person's name on it. This is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. Now, because this is just a photo prop or a decoration, there are lots of different yarns that you can use. This one is just made with Red Heart Super Saver in the red, in this dusty blue, and white. And it takes very little. You can use up some of your scraps even. I would say it doesn't even take 2 ounces worth of yarn. I'm going to be doing the demonstration today with cotton, and I'm going to be using Crafter's Secret. I found these 3 colors that I think make a wonderful antique or Americana style things. I did a video the other day with our star, and this is the way the colors work up. The red, the cream, and the blue. And I'm going to do the same thing with this, and then I have a matching set for my decorations. You're going to also need some sort of a button, and I found these gold antique buttons in my button collection, and so that's what I'm going to be putting on mine. It's just a tiny little gold button. You can add a star or any button that you would like, or you cannot. It doesn't have to have a button. I just think it adds just a little touch of fun. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll also need a needle for weaving in your ends and sewing that button on, and of course you'll need your scissors. The way the pattern works is we're going to begin with making the blue top, then we'll make the striped sides. We'll add the blue and the stripe together, and then we'll add the blue hat band, and then the brim, and then we'll add the button. It works up relatively quickly. So I'm going to start with the blue. I'm going to chain 3, and then we're going to place 8 half double crochets in the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, go in that second chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3 of those loops. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll move that tail out of the way. Oops, 6, 7, and 8. So we have 8 half double crochets. We're going to join to the first half double crochet and chain 2. Now don't worry about this little hole. We'll come back and use our needle and close that up with this tail of yarn. For row 2, we're going to place 2 half double crochets in each of the half double crochets. This chain 2 counts as our first half double crochet, so we'll stitch 1 more half double crochet in that same stitch. And now we'll place 2 half double crochets in each of the half double crochets around. Our first row we had 8 half double crochets. We placed 2 half double crochets in each of those 8, which gives us now 16 half double crochets. We're going to join to the chain 2 with a slip stitch and chain 2. Now for row 3, we're going to place a half double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we'll place 1 half double crochet in the next. Then we'll place 2 half double crochets in the next. And so the way row 3 is going to work is what I call 1 and 2. 1 half double crochet in the next and 2 half double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. Working all the way around row 3. 1 half double crochet and then 2 half double crochets in the next. 1 half double crochet and 2 half double crochets in the next. Working all the way around till we get back around here to our chain 2. So we stitched our 1 and 2 half double crochet all the way around. We're going to join to the top of our chain 2, and we're going to tie off. Alright, so I'm going to take my hook behind the next set of loops. I'm going to grab that loop and pull it to the back. Alright, and now that we're on the back, we're going to go ahead and close up that hole in the center of the top of our hat. I've threaded my yarn tail onto my needle, and now I'm just going to go around these stitches from our first row, go in those loops, working around that circle, and we're just going to gently pull on that and close that hole. Now, it may not close all the way, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. And then we'll just go in and just go back the same direction that we came. And that's going to make that hole stay closed. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and cut that. Oops. And then we'll do the same thing with this tail and work it in. And then we're going to set this aside and work the stripe portion of our hat next, and then we'll add them together. We're going to be alternating back and forth with our red and white yarn. So I've got my white ready, and I'm going to start with the red. We're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to chain 9. We're going to turn, and we'll place 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then in each of the chains across, and that's going to give us 8 single crochets. There we go. So I have 8 single crochets, chain 1, and turn. Our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and what we're going to do is we're going to be stitching in the back loops. And if you look at the top, you'll see there are loops on this side and loops on this side. We're going to be stitching on those loops on that side. The loops that are closest to you are the front loops, and the loops that are away from you are the back loops. Alright, so we're going to go in that back loop and stitch a single crochet, and we're going to do this all the way across. And this portion of the hat for the red and white stripes will all be stitched in the back loops only. So I stitched 1 single crochet in those 8 single crochets, working in the back loops only. Alright, now we're going to change colors, but we're not going to cut off our red yarn because we're going to be doing stripes going back and forth with the red and the white. So I'm going to bring in my white color, which is this sort of creamy color. And then I'm going to do my chain 1. When changing colors, it's always best to do your chain 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever you're doing after you do your color change. Alright, so now we're just going to repeat what we did on row 2. We're going to go in the back loops only and stitch 1 single crochet in each of those 8 single crochets. We stitched our row in back loops only, chain 1, and turn, and repeat. 1 single crochet in each of the 8 single crochets, stitching in the back loops only. Now it's time to bring the red back in. Let me finish that single crochet. And so we're just going to grab that red yarn, drop our white one, and bring our red one back in. And this is where you need to be careful not to pull this too tightly because you don't want your hat all puckered on the end. Alright, we'll do our chain 1, turn, and repeat. 1 single crochet in each of the 8 single crochets, working in the back loops only. So I finished that row of red, chain 1, turn, and repeat. 1 single crochet, working in the back loops only. And see how the striping works? We're doing 2 rows of red, 2 rows of white, 2 rows of red to make our stripes. So I've come to the end of the red row again. I'm going to bring that white back in, making sure I don't pull that too tightly, and chain 1. Now don't worry about it because when we come back in and add the blue, it's going to cover those pieces of yarn that we're draping across. Now we're going to do a white stripe again. 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets, working in the back loops only. Chain 1 and turn. One single crochet in each of the single crochets, working in the back loops only. Oops, we don't want to do our chain 1 because we're going to be changing colors again. And this is the way that your stripes should look. 2 rows of red, 2 rows of white, 2 rows of red, 2 rows of white. 1 single crochet in each of the 8 stitches, working in the back loops only. What we're going to be doing for the striped portion of the hat is to continue to repeat the 2 rows of red, 2 rows of white, 2 rows of red, 2 rows of white until we have 7 stripes of red and 7 stripes of white. So you'll continue to switch back and forth, and you'll continue to stitch 1 single crochet in each single crochet, working in the back loops only. And it's 2 rows of red makes 1 stripe, and 2 rows of white makes 1 stripe of white. And so we're going to repeat this until we have 7 stripes of red, 7 stripes of white, and that will get you up through row 28. I've stitched all my rows. I've got 7 rows of red and 7 rows of white, or I should say stripes, because each stripe is 2 rows. All right, and we're going to be keeping our white attached, and we're going to go ahead and cut off our red. And what we're going to do is we're going to form this into a tube. So we're going to take this and put the 2 ends together, and this is going to form the side of our top hat. All right, and we'll come back in and weave these ends in just a second. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put our hook through the first stitch here and pull that loop across. There we go. And then we'll make a chain 1, and now we're just going to slip stitch this together. So we'll go in the next stitch here and the next stitch here and just slip stitch that together, going through both thicknesses. I do suggest you do this just a little bit loose because we don't want it to be puckery, but also don't make it so it's gaping either. You want it to look pretty. And this is going to be the inside of the hat, by the way. All right. Okay, now I'm going to chain 1. And so what I've done is I've stitched that up. So now this is in a tube. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our blue and we're going to put it on the top of our hat. After we slip stitched the sides together, don't cut your yarn because we're going to use that to stitch the circle on. We're going to take it and turn it this way because we're putting it on the inside of the hat. And what you're going to do is, we don't have stitches, we only have the sides, and so you're going to have to ease it in and get it even. All right, and what I do is I put it in, I'll take my needle and I'll just pin it. You can do it with a pin also, just so that it's halfway so I know how much room I have to work around there. All right, so we'll be going through the ends of the stitches on this side and then the stitches on this side. And I recommend that you go in the back loops of the blue so that it lays nice, okay? And we're going to do slip stitches again. We'll go in the next one here. We'll go in that back loop. And this is called easing in because you may have more space than the top. And so you're going to just have to kind of work it around, move it a little bit, maybe stretch it a little, just so everything fits nicely. Because we don't have set stitches in the bottom, or the top I should say, of our top hat. And we are working on the inside of the hat, and we're going to flip it over. And I am trying to go into every stitch of the circle so I don't have any holes. All right, and you can see I'm almost to where I pinned it, and that tells me I'm doing pretty good at getting it in where I want it to be. And I'm going to move that so I don't poke myself. There we go, and I'm just going to continue working around the top of the hat, easing it in to where it looks nice. Okay? Alrighty. The main thing on this is to make sure that you put a stitch in every one of those stitches around the blue circle of the top hat. I stitched all the way around. I'm back to my first slip stitch, and I'm just going to slip stitch in the slip stitch and cut my yarn. Alrighty. Snug that down, and again, we do have a few ends. We're going to have to weave those in, but I'm not going to do that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to flip the hat over, and I'm going to take my hook and pull that red string to the inside, and then I know I can weave all those in to the inside, and this is what the hat should look like at this point. So now that we have the top of the hat on, the next thing we're going to do is to form the blue band around for our hat band. And you can join in your yarn anywhere that you want to. I was trying to find where I joined mine together so that I could start there. Alright, we'll just push those strings inside. We'll put our hook on the end of that first row of red. We're going to chain 2. And the way this works is you're going to put 2 half double crochets in each of the stripes. Basically, one in the end of each row, because our stripes are 2 rows. All right? So this one counts as our first one. So we're going to go right here and stitch a half double crochet. Then we'll go to the white and we'll stitch 2 half double crochets in the white stripe. And it's a good idea to try not to stitch in the holes. And you also want to make sure where we carried our yarn across that you're stitching over that as well. So we're going to go in the red one, going around where we carried our yarn across. So each stripe has 2 half double crochets, because basically we're putting 1 half double crochet in the end of each row. And I'm trying to go in the ends of the stitches and not the gaping holes between, just so that it has a much nicer look. And I'll continue this on around till I reach back to that first chain 2 where we started, where we joined in our blue yarn. I completed that row, working 2 half double crochets in each stripe, or in the end of each row. We're going to join to the chain 2 that counted as our first half double crochet, and chain 2. And this row, we're just basically going to place a half double crochet in each of the half double crochets that we just stitched. And this is going to make it look like our hat has a blue hat band. 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet around, for our hat band, and then we'll work that all the way around and join back to that chain 2, and then we can add the brim on our hat. Oh, and of course the button. I completed that second row of half double crochets. I joined to the chain 2, and now I'm going to cut my yarn. And I'm going to bring back in my red, and we're going to chain 3. And we're going to make the band, or the brim, not the band, of our hat that flares out. So what we're going to do is we're going to place 1 half double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. Then we'll stitch 1 half double crochet in the next stitch. And then the next stitch, we'll stitch 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. Move those strings out of the way. And so what we'll be doing around the brim of our hat is 2 double crochets in the next, and 1 double crochet in the next. So here's 2, and here's 1, 2, and 1, working all the way around. One double crochet in the next, and 2 double crochets in the next, and repeat, working all the way around our hat, and then we'll join back to that chain 3 and tie off, and then we can add that cute little button. See how it's flaring? That's exactly what we want it to do. I've completed that double crochet row, stitching 2 and 1, 2 and 1. I'm back around. I'm going to join to the chain 3 and cut my yarn. And again, I'm going to go behind, grab that loop and pull it to the back and weave that in. Now I do have some weaving in to do. That's a lot of weaving in. And we'll come back and get to that in just a minute. But this is the way that your hat should look at this point, if you lay it flat or if you stand it up. Okay? Now, I'm going to add a cute little button, and I've already got my button picked out. I've got this little antique, and I like to put it right on the band, but not in the middle, just kind of on that first row. And I've got yarn already threaded, and so I'm going to turn this in, and I'm going to go across some of these stitches. And because this is a decoration, it's not going to be buttoned and unbuttoned. I usually just do it like that, and then I'll just tie a couple of knots so that button will stay put. If you are worried that the button's going to come undone, you can add a little fray check or fabric glue to that. And if it's a decoration, you could probably use hot glue as well. As long as you don't take it outside where it's going to get hot and sticky, because hot glue is plastic and it will melt. All right, so there is my hat. Now, something I wanted to show you. Here's the other one that I made. And if you're going to use it for decoration that you want to stand up, which looks really cute, I just take a little bit of polyester fiber fill and stick it inside. And let me show you. I don't sew it in, I don't glue it in, nothing. I just take it and stuff it inside the hat so that it can stand up and look cute, especially if you're going to use it for, say, a table marker or decoration with some other things. And so that's what I do to make my hat stand up. And that's how easy it is and fun to make Uncle Sam's top hat.